Hi, folks. Today I wanted to go over a little problem I had. I was cleaning up an exported list of phone numbers um, from a person's Google contacts because I wanted to put them into a MailChimp um, group of contacts. And of course, this is just an example, but the list of phone numbers were all really different. They weren't listed in any kind of format. I mean, some of them were listed like this, which is sort of what I want. Some were listed with a +1. Some were listed, with parentheses around the area code, and so forth and so on. So what I really wanted to do was do a clean import. So what I've done here is written an app script, and this app script, first of all, I have my on open, and that's going to give me this um, menu that I can run. So on open, we're going to create a menu, clean phone numbers. We're going to run a script called format phone numbers. Now, what it's doing, it's acting on the active sheet. Now, if you were working with this and you wanted a specific sheet, I could say sheet 3, but I'm working with the active sheet, and it's going to get the data. It's going to get all the values in column A. So let's take a look at that. That's everything in column A starting at row 2, and that is basically right here. We're getting sheet, get range. We've defined the sheet as the active sheet. We're getting the range. Row 2, column 1, get the last row -1 and get all those values. And then we're creating an empty array, clean numbers. It's an empty array. And then we're using a regex, a phone regex expression to match a 10-digit number, optionally prefixed by a 1. So in other words, if it has a +1, it's going to ignore that. And then what we're doing here is taking this data. Here's our data. That's our data. For each row of data, we're going to, first of all, if the value is, if there is a value, let's take a look at a couple where there are no values. It's going to skip it if there is no value. And if it is, it's going to look at that number and it's going to put a clean number into this array, a clean number according to what we asked it to do. And if there's an invalid number, meaning not enough characters in it, it's going to mark it as invalid. And then it's going to write those numbers here it's going to set those values. So let's take a look at, let's get rid of a couple here, a couple of blanks, and let's type in a couple, that aren't correct. And maybe get rid of a couple here, and then maybe put in not enough numbers. Okay, now let's go ahead and run our script, see what it does. And very quickly, it's giving me exactly what I wanted. Now I have a very consistent clean number phone list, basically with the format that I was looking for. And if a phone number in the list was invalid, it's flagging that for me as an invalid phone number. I could maybe try to figure out how to fix it. And if it's blank, it just skips it. So I found it to be super handy, saved me a ton of time because I needed to clean up these phone numbers. I did not want to paste in a funky list of numbers into the new MailChimp program. Now I've decided maybe I do want to have all the numbers written with parentheses. So I've gone back into the script and I've added another component to the script here in the onOpen. I want to run it with parentheses. So let's go ahead and run my onOpen script. And let's double check here. I should now have clean it with parentheses. I also went ahead and at the end of this, just because this way I could just run it one time, I've gone ahead and taken my format phone numbers with parentheses and added it here so that when you run the first script, it would do both columns. But let's start right now with parentheses, make sure that works. Clean phone numbers with parentheses. There we go. So now I can get that phone number to look that if that's my preferred way of doing it. And then also notice that if I basically deleted all of this and just ran the first script now, it's going to run the first column, then it's going to run the second column. So again, super handy little app script. I had ran this basically out of ChatGPT. I had gone ahead and asked ChatGPT to write me the script, and this is what it came up with. So it worked out really well. And now I can clean up my list of phone numbers. And these, by the way, are all just random phone numbers, and none of them should be real phone numbers. You can see how you can go through a list of phone numbers that are formatted however poorly they're formatted and get an output that you can use.